You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now TSPN is proud to present Monday with Monique.
Welcome to Mondays with Monique. I'm Monique Graziadei, and I'm so thrilled that you're watching our show today. I love cooking. I love wine. If you know me, those are probably my two favorite things to do. And I have a very special guest on our show today. We have Mr. Doug Bellamy. Doug, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It's a thrill for me to have you on the show because you are a wine aficionado. You're really just a neat person. And Doug wrote The Art of Wine Tasting, which we have right here. A fabulous book. I read it over the weekend, except for the last few pages, which we'll talk about on the show. It was well worth reading, and I love the style that it was written in, and I'm excited to talk about it. We're going to taste some wine, we're going to talk about glasses, and cook some food. We'll be right back, going to a quick break. Stay with us.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now, back to Monday with Monique.
Welcome back to Mondays with Monique. The cool thing about the show is when you're seeing it as a viewer and then we go to a commercial, we're still here on the stage and we're talking and having fun. And I've got this, like grin on my face because you're just so fun to talk to. And you were just mentioning about how you'd purchased some wine on your son's birth year.
Right.
And now you're getting to the point where he's interested and you guys can share it together.
Yeah, my son, well, if you want to know what my son looks like, he is the young man on the cover of the book.
Yeah, he is. Very handsome man.
Yep. Yeah, I figured, the age difference, it would be good to put him on the book and not me. But he called me, he said, Dad, when he saw this book, he goes, Dad, I'm immortal now. But the fun thing was when he was born in 1992, I wanted to, it's a very big tradition in Europe, to, particularly with ports, where they would take a pipe of port, which is a large barrel, and put it away for the birth of their son. And then when he came into his majority, they would open it and share it with everybody.
Such a great tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that for my son, and now it's exciting because he's just starting to get into wine. So we're getting close to being able to open these wines that are, well, about 21 years old now.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Well, I'll be interested to hear the update on that when you open some of them, see how they turned out, how they matured, or if they lasted, and that's kind of neat. So reading your book, one thing that I really, really loved is embrace the journey and become more than you can ever imagine. I'm just such a positive person, and I love this part about your book because, it shows me that we're really alike in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't see connections a lot of times. I think whatever we do in our lives, there's always something to learn. I mean, it could be something, I remember when I was very young, just in high school, I had a job as a janitor in like a Safeway type thing, so I'm buffing floors, and you're thinking, well, what can you learn from that? But there was always something, and you never know later in your life when one connection leads to another connection and allows you to write a book like this that has had so many different stories from different parts in your lives that have come together and are mentioned in this book.
That's right, that's right. And you talked about the religious experience with White Zinfandel. And I thought, does everybody go through that? Does everybody start with White Zin?
Well, if you think about our society, most of us were raised on soda pop, Cokes, Pepsis. So really it's not that far of a jump from those sweet sodas to White Zinfandel. So it's an easy transition. And I know people, they make fun of White Zinfandel, that it's not important, but it really is an important part of the wine world.
It really
because
is.
It's an easy transition. And as I say in the book, sometimes people just want to stay with White Zinfandel, which is fine.
My mom drank it her entire adult life. Yeah,
it has great versatility with food, but for other of us, like you and I, we see the possibilities in White Zinfandel, and we want to see what else is out there.
Exactly.
And and it leads to different discoveries of wine.
Right. And then you're curious to go, oh, what would go good with this? What would go good with that?
Right.
I also noticed that you had mentioned Mike Grgich in your book, and that was a favorite Chardonnay of mine. Back in the '90s.
Yeah.
I still do love it. Don't get me wrong, but back then it was like supreme.
Yeah, we were so lucky at the time, you know, when we started doing these wine dinners. It was right at the beginning. You didn't see him so often. So Mike Gergich, I mean, here's a guy that's world famous.
Right.
And he's telling people to come to our restaurant before we'd actually schedule him. We'd get calls. We'd go, well, we haven't scheduled him yet, but we'll let you know when we do. Yeah. And we were lucky to have people like Mike Gergich.
You were so fortunate to get, you know, some big names like that there. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea how lucky I was. You know, I was, you know, in my mid-20s, and all of a sudden we're getting people like Dan Duckhorn and Mike Gergich and John Trefethen and Joe Heitz, people like that, you know, and they would all come.
That's great.
And we had these great chefs, these two young chefs that were just fearless, and they'd cook these. I would just give them simple outlines of what I was looking for, and they would just take it beyond my imagination. And still to this day, I mean, that was over 30 years ago, and it's some of the best food and wine combinations I've ever had.
Wow, that sounds really nice. On page 21 of your book, you mentioned believe in yourself and what you smell and taste. Another positive. I'm like, yes, this guy has it right. He's got it right. So what are we going to smell and what are we going to taste?
Well, what I brought, this is a bottle of Easton Pinot Noir, and I brought this because Pinot Noir has very, if you ever see descriptions of Pinot Noir, it's always soft and delicate, you know, the more feminine qualities. And the reason I brought Pinot Noir is because of its delicacy, but it's one of the few wines that I feel really needs its own glass. Certainly, you can get a red wine in a white glass, and it's going to fit most things that you drink. But if you love Pinot Noir, I don't see any way around getting a good Pinot Noir glass, which is what this is. This is strictly for Pinot Noir. But what I want to do is I want to show you why glassware is so important and how it changes the flavors and aromas in a wine. And how it does it with these glasses. These are made by Riedel, George Riedel out of Austria. And it all has to do with the depth of the bowl and the circumference or the width of the opening that forces you to purse your lips a certain way and tilt your head back a certain way so the wine goes to the proper areas of your palate.
And you talk about that in chapter 10 in your book, which I read, and I thoroughly enjoyed. And I'm like, yes, okay, we got this one.
Yeah, you know, people when I talk about this, you know, we do experiments. I worked for another guy, a really great chef, and we would do these 6-course dinners, and we would change the glassware with each course. And I'd tell people why we did it, and you could see them crossing their arms and thinking, this guy's just trying to sell me glassware.
Yeah, right.
And I would say, I'm going to show you. And I brought the wine out so they'd see I was pouring it from the same bottle, and I would pour it in 2 different glasses, just like this.
Let's do a taste test.
And I had one gentleman come back to me, and he was so funny because I could see he had a grimace on his face, and he just didn't want to believe this. A month later, he brought back his friends, and he said, you changed my wine life. I want you to do this for my friends. So he had to dump all of his glassware that he had and buy all this new glassware.
Glassware, time for something new.
Yeah, no more of those dime pitch glasswares from the State Fair. You actually have to buy good glassware to really appreciate wine. And I tell people, once you understand how glassware affects the taste of wine, it's like trying to go from those old jug wines that we used to drink a long time ago, you know, from very good wine back to jug wine. You just can't do it.
It's hard to go back.
So you're going to be my experiment.
I love to be the experiment.
You get to do it. So this glass is actually for Chardonnay. So I brought a Chardonnay glass. And this one is specifically for Pinot Noir.
Which one? You want me to try the Chard glass first?
So what I want you to do is smell them both first to see if there's a difference. And then taste out of the Chardonnay glass and then taste out of the Pinot Noir glass.
Okay. I can do this.
I figured you were a veteran on this. You might be able to handle this.
Big difference. It's good. I'm not saying it's not good, but I'm interested to see what it tastes like out of this glass. The pour is really fast.
Right. So it goes to a different area of your palate.
The smell is so good. Oh my gosh.
I know, in this glass. You could spend a day in this Pinot Noir glass just smelling the different aromas.
What a difference. I mean, it's like, honestly, it's like night and day. It's like grape juice and apple juice. They're just, you know, they just are so different. And like you say, it's not bad in that glass, but it just tastes like red wine. Yes.
But this one, it has depth and complexity and aromas, and
the aromas are amazing, and that's of course the first thing before tasting. And
right, and that's really Pinot Noir. To me, it's about those aromas. They're so beautiful.
Wow.
And if you think about it now, I don't know if you noticed it, but if you think about it, with this glass, your mouth is wider, because of the depth of the bowl, it forces your head back longer, back further, so the wine actually skips over the front of your palate, which is the sweet area, and goes to salt and savory.
I totally noticed that, yes.
And you said, like, this is a short pour,
Yeah.
which is meant for, in Chardonnay, you want to taste more of the fruit.
And more towards the front.
Right. It goes right to the front.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this. We do have to go to a quick commercial break. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. HICAP, the Health Insurance Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now back to Monday with Monique.
Welcome back to Mondays with Monique. So glad that you're watching. Okay, we have Doug Bellamy. And Doug, what are we going to cook here?
What we chose today was, it's called a Moroccan skillet chicken over couscous. And so it's one of those dishes that's so easy, takes so little time. I love making it during the middle of the week, you know, when we come home from work and we're just a little bit tired, but you want something elegant to eat. It takes literally 10 to 15 minutes to cook.
Easy.
And so right now we're boiling a little bit of water, and we're going to first make the couscous, and because couscous is so simple, it really, you boil water, put the couscous in, set it on the side, and it's done in 5 minutes.
Gotta love that.
So that's one of those great things, and it's a good grain to go on top of this skillet chicken with Moroccan spices. And the reason that I chose this is that we're going to, when I cook, everything has to be paired around wine. So I'm always thinking about flavors, combinations, and the Moroccan spices, cinnamon, cumin, all those types of things, allspice go so well with Pinot Noir. And so we're going to find out how good this is today.
So you had a part in your book that talks about people that drink the same wine over and over. They need to get out of the box. I am guilty 100%. I'm a Chardonnay Rombauer girl. There's a couple of variations, like Stores. There's a couple other ones. And then I tend to drink red wine more based on the temperature. You know, I'll go with a Merlot maybe instead of a Chardonnay on a cold night. And I do want to center them around food, but I just got so set in my ways, so I want you to teach me something new.
Yeah, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we certainly all have different things we like, different wines we like. But
there you go.
So what we're going to do is this is Near East couscous, and there are two types of couscous. There's also a pearl couscous, but I want you to just use regular couscous. So all we do is open this up real quick. As soon as I can get it open.
Should be easy.
Should be easy. And there's a spice packet in here, and then the couscous. So we're going to just go ahead and pour the couscous in there, like that.
Perfect.
And then we're going to open up the spice packet.
When we're talking about types of glassware and the glassware from Rydell, and he has an upper echelon and then a more affordable crystal glass. And it was so cute you said in your book, well, it's the difference between lamb's wool and cashmere. And I got that one. You know, lamb's wool, nice, it makes me itch a little bit. Cashmere, no itch, totally soft. And so that's a cool comparison when we're talking about, watch the heat there, when we're talking about, you know, types of glasses and quality of glasses. So. And it makes a big difference. Yeah, George is funny that way, because, you know, you're thinking, why should I spend $80 for a glass when I can? That was his explanation. Was great simile. Great, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to the chicken. Okay. And first, I need to just take a little bit of garlic. I have 4 cloves of garlic that I'm going to mince. Got it. Right here. So I've already peeled them. The skins are already off, and we're just gonna mince them really quickly. Okay. And I love fresh ingredients. You know, you can buy the garlic in the jar, which really doesn't hold a candle to fresh. I don't think it does either. No. There's such a difference in flavor. But yeah, and garlic, you know, I mean, it's really easy to take the skin off and just mince it real quick. You had mentioned in your book also on page 63 about the difference between lying wine down for an extended period of time or drinking it, you know, now versus letting it maybe it gets better, maybe you miss the point when it's perfect. And the cutest thing you said was the fact that says here, quote, "Yay, he doesn't even buy green bananas anymore." You know, so drink it now while it's good, drink it maybe a little bit later, but don't wait forever. It could pass you by. Yeah, you know, wine, I mean, people come in and they want black and white answers with wine, and it's really shades of gray.
we can be drinking the same wine, and one of us thinks it's the greatest thing in the world, and the other one goes, you should have drank this like 5 years ago.
Right.
So that's why I tell people the rule of thumb is drink it when you like it. If you have multiple bottles of something, and you taste that third bottle and you go, this is what I love in wine, find a reason to drink the other ones. Don't take chances.
Right.
Because it's going to change. You have to decide if you like that change or not.
Right.
So I tell people, err on the side of caution.
Gotcha.
That's
And
it. I'm
you
gonna
know
turn
what
it
was really,
off again. Hold
you
on
want
a
it down? There you go.
I'm going to turn it. I want to mince the. I've got to cube the chicken breast
Okay.
first, so
Here,
we're going
move
to.
over a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to move this one over there.
I thought it was good advice when you talked about Shades of Grey, the chapter in your book, how when you buy wine that you're going to lay down, it's important to, buy enough of it so that you can taste it periodically to see where it's at.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's smart. I have the whole case. It's laying down. I'm waiting and waiting for it. And why am I not opening a bottle every 2 or 3 months? What's wrong with me? And then I can actually judge to see when these wines are at their perfect time for me.
Right. And people say, well, I'm saving this for a special occasion. Well, every day is a special occasion that we're here. It's one of those positive things that I think, yeah, you want to save it for a special occasion or the right people, but find a reason. Find a reason to open them up and drink them.
I completely agree. Wednesday night barbecue there once a month for a while. And everyone's like, well, why Wednesday? Shouldn't we do it on the weekend? And I go, no, Wednesday's a good night. Let's get together and eat and drink and have fun.
Yeah, I agree. I love, when people come over and I'm cooking for them, it's just so exciting to think about those combinations, and watch their reactions to having great food and wine together, and glassware, and a lot of times people don't have that. They save things for the weekend, and I'm like you, Wednesday, that's just as good as any other day to open things up.
Sure is.
Okay, so I think we've got these. These you do in about 1-inch chunks. This chicken,
and we want to get that in the pan so we can try it before.
Yeah.
Try it before the end of the show too.
Oops.
So.
Is it on?
Let me get that for you. It is on now. There
okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to let this heat up just slightly, and then I'm going to put the garlic in, and we're just going to let this saute for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just to get the aromatics of the garlic going.
Are you going to remove the garlic, or are you going to keep it in the pan?
Keep it in the pan.
Okay. So maybe let's move it off to one side, and we'll put the chicken on the other side.
Okay.
And the chicken can get moving and grooving here.
Well, actually, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, at home we have more time. Our show.
Right.
Wish we had more time. That looks great.
Yeah, we're gonna saute this up. And once you cube this up into small pieces, it doesn't really take that long for chicken to cook that much.
It takes much longer to cook the entire breast than to cube it and cook it quick.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So once I start cooking, I don't really go away from the pan because things can change quickly, especially with garlic.
Yes.
It can change quickly, and we don't want garlic to get burnt, so you get that burnt flavor.
Exactly. And then, if you have a bottle of wine open and you're cooking and you're talking, we know what happens,
music's
right?
on.
The music's on, and you start up a conversation, and all of a sudden you look at your watch and go, oh, the garlic's
the garlic. Or all of a sudden you see that little plume of smoke coming out, and you go, ooh, something's burning. Oh, that's right, I was cooking. Yeah, but actually in my kitchen I have a couple chairs in my kitchen so that while I'm cooking, my guests can sit there and talk to me, and that way I'm not leaving the pan.
See, I love that. I have my cooktop on the island, and then there's a couple chairs right in front of it. So, such a cool place to hang out and have a conversation.
Yeah, I love making the kitchen the center of what's going on.
Well, we're going to just take a quick break. Stay with us, and we'll have the finished product to you in just a moment.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. And now, back to Monday with Monique.
Thanks for staying with us. Mondays with Monique. I'm Monique, and we have Doug Bellamy. What are you going to add to this great dish?
Well, what we did is we sauteed the chicken. Couscous is ready. You can see it right here with the side salad that we've tossed.
That's right.
And now we just have diced tomatoes, and I'm going to add pumpkin pie spice.
Say that 10 times fast.
And so pumpkin pie spice.
It's a
the
tough
spice
one.
has allspice, cinnamon, ginger in it, And then we're going to take about actually 2 teaspoons of chili powder.
Okay. I love chili powder.
And there we go.
Good.
And then we're going to take about a teaspoon and a quarter of cumin, ground cumin.
Whoa!
There we
That
go.
should be good.
That should be plenty.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we're just going to constitute all those together. We're going to let them saute just a minute to get all the spices. That's why you want to saute it, is to allow the spices to release their aromatic.
Meld together.
Right.
Yeah. And Doug, where's your regular job at?
I'm the tasting room manager at Terra Ruse in Easton. It's 3 miles out of the town of Plymouth in the Shenandoah Valley, right off of Shenandoah Road and Dixon Road in Plymouth.
And so we just tasted a 2010 Pinot Noir from Easton, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And what's interesting about it, most of the times you think about Pinot Noir as being a grape that you get on the coast, that has that nice coastal influence. This is actually high elevation Pinot Noir. It actually comes from about 2,400 feet. It has this beautiful, clean, spicy character to it.
It is nice, very nice.
Let's see that down.
All right, let's
Okay, now the last thing we're going to do is put on some frozen peas.
Okay.
So we want a little bit of green. Oops, wrong one. We've got a little bit of green on here, but this gives us some
and
some
I have
vegetables.
To have my greens, yes.
Yes.
Any kind of green, anything.
And really, that's it.
That's it.
I mean, it's such a simple dish, but it's so elegant. And with the Pinot Noir, this is one that transports you to the clouds.
And I'm going to have to try that.
Okay, let's just put a little bit on here. Oops, turn that out.
Perfect.
There we go.
That is a beautiful plate. I mean, this really
Nice
is
and nice colors.
gorgeous, nice colors, a lot of different textures going on here. All right, give this a try. That's amazing. And it was so simple, but honestly, that's probably one of the best quick dishes I've ever had. I love the spices, the tomatoes, and the chicken. I mean, I'd eat that every day.
Yeah, and it's great as a leftover, too.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being on the show, Doug. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
You're
My
wonderful guest. I love talking with you. We'll talk wine and food some more.
Good.
Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching Mondays with Monique on TSPN TV.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.